Breaking news for every Social Security recipient watching this video right now. If you're collecting Social Security retirement benefits, SSI or SSDI, listen very carefully. There is a critical deadline coming up at the end of December that could cost you $2,400 in benefits if you miss it. I'm not exaggerating. This is not clickbait. This is real. And thousands of seniors lose money every single year because they don't know about this deadline. So if you're on Social Security, do not skip this video. What I'm about to share could be the difference between getting your full benefits and losing a significant amount of money that you've earned and that you deserve. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is where we break down every Social Security update, payment schedule change, and policy shift that affects your benefits. We don't use complicated legal language. We don't waste your time. We give you the facts you need to protect your income. My goal is simple. I want to make sure you never miss a payment, never lose benefits you're entitled to, and always know what's happening with your Social Security check before it affects you. That's why over 100,000 seniors trust this channel to keep them informed and protected. Now, before we dive into today's urgent update, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Why? Because Social Security rules change constantly, and if you're not subscribed, you might miss the next critical update that affects your check. Subscribing takes 2 seconds, but it could save you thousands of dollars in the long run. All right, let's get into what you absolutely must do before December 31st. What's happening and why this matters. Here's the situation. Every year, the Social Security Administration requires certain recipients to report specific information before the end of December. If you don't report this information on time, the SSA can reduce your benefits, suspend your payments, or even make you pay back money you've already received. And we're not talking about a small amount here. Depending on your situation, you could lose over $2,000 in benefits. For some people, it's even more. Now, you might be thinking, wait, I've never had to report anything before. Why would I need to do this now? That's a great question, and here's the answer. Not everyone has to report. But if you fall into one of these categories, you absolutely do. And missing this deadline is not an option. Who needs to take action? Before December 31st. First, if you're receiving SSI benefits and you had any changes in your income or living situation this year, you must report it. SSI is based on financial need. That means the Social Security Administration needs to know if your income went up, if you moved in with someone who helps pay your bills, if you got married, or if you received any gifts or financial help from family or friends. Let me give you a real example. Let's say you're receiving SSI, and back in June, your daughter started helping you with rent. She's been giving you $300 a month. That counts as income. And if you didn't report it, the SSA could decide you've been overpaid. They could reduce your future checks or even demand that you pay back the money. I know that sounds harsh, but that's how the system works. SSI has strict income and resource limits, and the SSA expects you to report changes within 10 days of the end of the month when the change happened. But here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize they need to report, or they forget, or they think it's not a big deal. Then December rolls around, and the SSA does their annual review. That's when they catch unreported changes. And that's when people get hit with overpayment notices. Second, if you're working while receiving Social Security retirement benefits and you're under your full retirement age, you need to make sure your earnings are reported correctly. Here's why this matters. If you claim Social Security benefits before your full retirement age and you're still working, there's an earnings limit. For 2024, that limit is $22,320. If you earn more than that, Social Security will withhold $1 in benefits for every $2 you earn over the limit. Now, Social Security usually gets your earnings information from your employer and the IRS, but sometimes there are delays. Sometimes the information isn't accurate, and if Social Security doesn't have the correct information by the end of the year, they might estimate your earnings. And if they estimate too high, they could withhold too much from your checks next year. That's why it's critical to double check that your earnings are reported correctly and to contact Social Security if there are any discrepancies. You don't want to be in a situation where they're withholding money from your check because of an error. Third, if you're receiving SSDI and you started working or your work activity increased this year, you need to report that. Social Security has something called Substantial Gainful Activity, or SGA. For 2024, the SGA limit is $1,550 per month for most people. If you're earning more than that, Social Security might determine that you're no longer disabled and stop your benefits. But here's the thing. Social Security has work incentives. They have programs like the trial work period and extended period of eligibility that allow you to test your ability to work without immediately losing your benefits. But you have to report your work activity so they can track it properly. If you don't report and Social Security finds out later that you were working, they could decide you weren't eligible for benefits during that time. And then they'll send you an overpayment notice demanding that you pay back thousands of dollars. I've heard from viewers who've been in this exact situation, and it's devastating. They were trying to improve their lives by working a little bit, but because they didn't report, they ended up owing Social Security money. Fourth, if you're receiving benefits on behalf of someone else as a representative payee, you need to file your annual report. If you're managing Social Security benefits for a child, an elderly parent, or a disabled family member, the SSA requires you to file an annual representative payee report. This report shows how you spent the benefits and whether the person's living situation has changed. The deadline for this report is usually sometime in December or January, depending on when you became a payee. If you don't file it on time, Social Security can suspend the benefits. And that means the person you're caring for won't get their check until you submit the report. I know filling out forms is annoying, but this is not optional. If you're a representative payee, you must file this report every single year. Why the December 30th deadline is so critical. Now, you might be wondering why the end of December is such a big deal. Why not just report in January or February? Here's why. December 31st is the cutoff for the current benefit year. After that date, Social Security processes their annual reviews and adjustments. If they don't have your updated information by then, they'll make decisions based on incomplete or outdated data. And those decisions can affect your benefits for the entire next year. Also, if you're supposed to report something and you don't, the longer you wait, the worse it gets. Every month that goes by is another month of potential overpayment. And when Social Security finally catches it, you'll owe more money. On top of that, reporting late can trigger audits and investigations. Social Security might question whether you were intentionally hiding information. And that can lead to penalties, loss of benefits, or even legal trouble in extreme cases. I don't say this to scare you. I say it because I want you to understand how serious this is. The Social Security Administration has rules, and they enforce those rules. Ignorance is not an excuse. If you're required to report and you don't, there will be consequences. Real-world example. Let me tell you about a situation I heard from a viewer named Margaret. Margaret is 73 years old, and she's been receiving Social Security retirement benefits for 8 years. Last year, she started doing some part-time work at a local library. She was only making about $1,500 a month, and she thought it was fine because she was past her full retirement age. And she was right. Once you reach full retirement age, you can earn as much as you want without affecting your Social Security benefits. But here's where Margaret made a mistake. She also receives SSI because her Social Security benefit is very low. And SSI does have income limits, even after full retirement age. Margaret didn't realize that her part-time job income needed to be reported to SSI. She thought that because her Social Security wasn't affected, she didn't need to tell anyone. Fast forward to December, and Margaret gets a letter from Social Security. They found out about her job, and they've determined that she was overpaid SSI for the past 8 months. The total overpayment, over $3,000. Now Social Security is withholding her entire SSI check every month until the overpayment is paid back. Margaret is devastated. She can barely afford her rent and groceries, and she had no idea this was going to happen. The worst part? If Margaret had just reported her income when she started working, Social Security would have adjusted her SSI payments accordingly. She still would have received some SSI, just a reduced amount, and she wouldn't be in this mess. That's why reporting is so important. It's not about getting in trouble. It's about making sure your benefits are calculated correctly so you don't end up owing money later. What you need to do right now. Okay, so here's what you need to do before December 31st. Step 1. Determine if you need to report anything. Go through the categories I mentioned earlier. Are you receiving SSI? Did your income or living situation change? Are you working while receiving retirement benefits or SSDI? Are you a representative payee? If any of these apply to you, you need to report. Step 2, gather your documentation. You'll need proof of any changes. That means pay stubs if you're working, bank statements if you received money from someone, lease agreements if you moved, marriage certificates if you got married. Whatever the change is, have documentation ready. Step 3, contact Social Security as soon as possible. Don't wait until December 30th. Call Social Security at 1-800-77-21213. Yes, the wait times can be long. Yes, it's frustrating, but you need to do this. You can also report online through your My Social Security account at ssa.gov. In fact, reporting online is often faster and you'll have a record of what you submitted. If you're a representative payee, log into your account and file your annual report electronically. It only takes a few minutes and it's much faster than mailing in a paper form. Step 4. Keep records of everything. If you call Social Security, write down the date, time, and the name of the person you spoke with. If you report online, save a copy of the confirmation. If you mail anything, send it certified mail so you have proof it was received. This is critical. If there's ever a dispute, you'll need to prove that you reported on time. Step 5. Follow up. After you report, check your Social Security account online or call back in a few weeks to make sure the information was processed. Sometimes things get lost. Sometimes there are errors. It's your responsibility to make sure everything is updated correctly. Don't panic, but don't procrastinate. I know this sounds like a lot, but here's the truth. If you haven't had any changes to report, you're probably fine. Most Social Security recipients don't need to do anything before the end of December. But if you do need to report something, don't put it off. Don't assume it's not a big deal. Don't think you'll get away with not reporting. The Social Security Administration has sophisticated systems for tracking income, living arrangements, and work activity. They will find out eventually. And when they do, it will cost you. The good news is that reporting is free. It doesn't cost you anything except a little bit of time. And that time investment could save you thousands of dollars and a massive headache down the road. If this video helped you understand what you need to do before December 31st, I need you to do 2 things for me right now. First, hit that subscribe button. Seriously. This channel exists to protect your Social Security benefits. We cover every payment update, every policy change, every deadline that matters. And we do it in plain English so you don't have to wade through confusing government websites or sit on hold with Social Security for hours trying to get answers. Subscribing means you'll never miss an update. And with Social Security rules changing all the time, that peace of mind is priceless. Second, share this video. I guarantee you know someone who needs to hear this information. Maybe it's a friend who's on SSI. Maybe it's a family member who's working while collecting benefits. Maybe it's someone who's a representative payee and doesn't realize they need to file a report. Send them this video, post it on Facebook, share it in your community group. You could literally save someone from losing thousands of dollars. And if you have questions or if you're not sure whether you need to report something, drop a comment below. I read every single comment and I'll do my best to point you in the right direction. Remember, I'm not a Social Security attorney, and this video is not legal advice, but I am here to help you understand how the system works so you can protect yourself. All right, let's wrap this up with the most important takeaway. If you're receiving Social Security Retirement, SSI, or SSDI, and you've had any changes in your income, living situation, or work activity this year, you must report that information to Social Security before December 31st. If you don't, you could face benefit reductions, payment suspensions, or overpayment demands that could cost you over $2,000. This is not a maybe. This is not a suggestion. This is a requirement, and the deadline is coming up fast. So please, take action today. Don't wait until the last minute. Call Social Security, report online, or file your representative payee report. Whatever you need to do it now. And here's the bottom line. Social Security is your lifeline. For most seniors, it's the majority of their income. You worked for these benefits, you earned them, and you deserve to receive every penny you're entitled to without any surprises or penalties. That's why staying informed and staying proactive is so important. And that's exactly what this channel is here for. So thank you for watching. Thank you for trusting me with this information. And thank you for being part of this community of smart, informed Social Security recipients who refuse to leave money on the table. I'll see you in the next video with more updates, more tips, and more ways to protect your benefits. Until then, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and make sure you handle this December deadline. Stay informed, stay protected, and I'll talk to you soon.